só que amor, nunca vi coisa assim. E passou, nem parou, mas olhou só pra mim. Se voltar.
So I have my victim here. So I'm going to free up the legs. Okay, so in poultry, the first thing that we always do is we always remove the wishbone. That's always done first so you don't forget it. Why do we remove the wishbone? Well, first of all, I'm going to end up deboning this whole bird. There won't be any bones or tendons left in it. And if you don't, you're going to, when you go to cut the bird, you're going to lose muscle meat right here. So if you remove that, you'll have complete total usage. Okay, so I'm going to cut right behind the wishbone and up into it. Right back behind it, down into the shoulder. Back up. Scraping on the turkey doesn't really work as well as it does on a chicken, so you have to cut it out. Okay, so there it is. Now, to make a little stock out of the wings, some people like to eat the wings. In the hotel business, we make stock out of them. So we're going to reserve that. Reserve that. We don't need so much neck flap either. We're going to need some, but we don't need so much. Because I want to protect the breast when I go to truss it, right? Because the more meat that's exposed to the heat, the drier it's going to get. So let's establish that the breast of any of the poultry is the prized piece of the bird, right? The legs are secondary and the wings are third. So I'm going to roll it over. And here we have the tail here. Let's save him for stock also. We're going to make one continual cut from the neck, from the top of where the head would be, all the way down to the tail. I'm going to pull the meat back. This is the shoulder blade that I'm going after first. The key to this is that I want to, again, always cutting into the bone. Slide and glide that knife right underneath the skin. There, that's called the oyster right there. And notice I'm working in sections as I come down. Right? I'm not just diving into the shoulder here and then trying to come back up. I'm going to work in layers. When I get down to that, to the wing, the best thing to do is just move it so you can see where it's going to be joining, and then work your knife into the joint. Depending upon the bird that you're working with, if you're working with pheasant, that leg joint is going to be very developed. Pheasants run, ducks swim. Chickens not so much. Chickens are like this. You can pop them right out of their joint. It's real easy. This one here, you move it a little bit, you can see the ball in the socket. We're going to do what's called a butcher's grip. We're going to come right inside that and pop that free. And you know, there's a lot of knife companies out there, but you're going to find the knife that fits your hand the best. So there's not one answer for everybody. Some people are not so strong, so they like global knives. Heavier knives are like Hinkels and Wustors. So you just have to, when you're at the counter, handle them. Work with them like you would at home. Okay, so far we're down to the sternum. We have the oyster out. We're looking good. Let's go repeat it on the same thing on the other side. Right against the membrane of the rib cage. This is the floating rib right here. We're going to leave him attached. Leave that attached to it. Notice I keep turning the carcass so it's easier for me to attack it as I go. And I'm always cutting away from my hand. So if the knife does slip, I don't have to worry about cutting my fingers. Okay. Now we're going to pick this up and we're going to let gravity help us here. And just cut down against the sternum without cutting through the skin. Okay? So it should look like that after you've done it maybe 100,000 times. Okay, there we go. That's what it looks like. So far, okay? We're almost there. So it looks like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove the leg and the thigh. Now again, look up at the monitor because right where this fat crease is, right here, is exactly where the leg and the thigh attach. We're just going to nick it. We're not going to go through it. I'm going to cut on one side, and then we're going to cut on the other side. This is the thigh bone now. Then we're going to pick it up, and we're going to come underneath it. So I'm not doing any of this. No scraping. I'm going to cut it out. Now for the leg itself, I'm going to pick the leg up so that the joint is facing me, and I'm going to cut down around that joint. Cutting all the tendons. I'm going to French the back part of the leg. And we should be good. What I want to do is push that meat down on the leg and then pull the bone right out like that. Okay? Now we have these tendons that I want to get rid of, and I want to pull the tendons out in the same format. But again, you don't want to serve this. Let's see what we got. Do we have anything left? I think we're looking pretty good. Now, what are we going to put in this? Now for a little more flavor to it, of course, I'm going to lightly salt it. And the key word is lightly. Because, of course, what does salt do? It's one of the key elements in dehydration, okay, and through osmosis. So what we don't want to do is pull out too much moisture. So I have a seasoning mixture that I use on poultry, or a basic seasoning salt. Then a mixture here that's already been done. What this is sauteed shallots and garlic, and then finished with tarragon. And, well, of course, booze. We have to have alcohol in all of our cooking, right? So if I didn't cook this first and just put it into the turkey here, raw garlic, shallots with its sulfur, be very acrid, right? There's no place for those aromas to go except for into the flesh, and that's why we cook it first. We're going to pack that kind of tight. We're going to roll dark meat against dark meat, white meat against white meat, because some people like dark meat, some people like white meat. This way we can cut it, and everybody gets what they like. Let's pull that down. If your breast is very large, like out of a 24-pound bird, you can put a little plastic wrap over this, take a pan, and just lightly pound it out so it's nice and even. Okay? I'm going to roll this over. Fold that over. We're going to take our wing, push our wing in, pull our skin down, shape it. Okay, and we roll that over.